Another thing I want to get onto the car, I have this SIR carbon fiber hood. It's not that great though. Let me show you. As you can see how there's a lot of little like bumps and divots. See right here, you can definitely see it. There's raised areas. There was like a second layer of gel coating put on top of it, and it left all these little like bubbles. So what I'm doing, I'm just sanding it down, trying to get it as smooth as possible. I have some vinyl, looks like carbon fiber. I just want to get it smooth, so that way when I apply the vinyl, it looks pretty sharp. Then I'll install some arrow catch locks. I think it'll clean the front end of that car up considerably. Got the front end removed. I do that just so I had my old pins and I removed those. It's nice because I already have the position for those. I'm gonna start drilling, marking where I want to put the arrow catch. I think I'm gonna mount them. I'll probably mount them this way. I really don't know yet. Hood lines up pretty well. Everything's pretty smooth. It's rough. I don't think I'm going to do any bit of a smoother grit because I think it'll be perfect for the vinyl when it's on there. It'll really adhere to it, being that there's a lot of little imperfections. But I think it'll look solid. So we gotta get these arrow catch set up first. Once that's on there, then I'm gonna clean it and then apply the vinyl so that I can just cut the hole. I don't want to put the vinyl on and then try cutting around it, potentially rip it. I think it'll be easier just to do this first. I got strike pins drilled through with the pilot holes. Got the back cut out, that way I can have the bases there. This is kind of how you're supposed to mount them. That way you can see the whole pilot hole. Basically let you line this up, or obviously it's not gonna be this high. That way you can get them set up. Draw a little line marking this area off. Then we're gonna cut that out, and that should be exactly where they'll fit. Really not too difficult getting these installed, especially when you're cutting through carbon fiber or maybe a fiberglass hood, just because it's a lot easier with the Dremel. I imagine a steel hood is gonna take a little bit longer. Here we go after the vinyl install. That is a lot harder than it looks, especially when you're trying to use heat gun. I think it came out okay. There's a couple spots where there's like these little lines. I think it's just because when I pulled it apart. There's a couple here on the front. You know, overall though, being on the car that it is, I think it came out really cool. I think it looks nice. It'll make the front end look a lot nicer. Let me get it put together. I'm gonna get the arrow catch on, get everything mounted up. We'll take a final look once it's completely done. Here's a look with everything put back together. This hood actually fits a lot better than the damaged one did. Obviously it probably should. The lines are a lot closer. I get some overhang on the headlight here, but that's because this frame rail is damaged. The support's pushed in a little bit, so is the headlight. Doesn't bother me, being it's a track car. This car doesn't need to be super pretty, I just want it to look decent. I actually think it looks pretty good. Got the arrow catch on. I really like these, are cool. And then with the lock, pretty easy to use this as well. Can't remember which way the key goes in though. There we go. And that made it super easy to get those set up now. Another thing I did when I had the time, I took the black buddy clubs off the Integra GSR. I had originally bought them for this car in the first place along with these tires. Just something we could drive to the track in and on and not have to swap any sort of tires and then just drive home with them. I love the way it looks, and these are gonna stay on here now. I love it 100 times better than the 5 Ziggins looked on here. 5 Ziggins were great. The bronze looked really nice with the maroon, but I'm just digging the 15x8 profile along with the gloss black on this car.
That thing's badass. Shall we? Faster.
Let's get to some of the specifics. Coilovers, 10K, 8K. I love the way it felt comparatively to the 8K, 5K. Less body roll, more control. It's a little stiff, but I like the way that feels. I feel like the recovery was good for me. Some may like it at a little softer setting. That just depends on driver preference. I could actually maybe turn down a few notches and see if that helps at the next event. I think I might actually do that. Love the way it felt. Car was definitely faster. I've ran, the fastest time of the day was a 1:25.2. And that's, we did clockwise direction. In counterclockwise, my fastest in this car before was a 1:25.1, so it's only 1/10 of a second difference. And generally, for the way I drive, I am usually about 2 seconds slower from counterclockwise to clockwise. Counterclockwise, I'm a little bit faster in that direction. So it'll be great to see at the next event. We're going counterclockwise. I can see if I can maybe beat that 1:25.1 in one of the morning sessions. And see if these mods helped. Splitter, hopefully it helped a little bit. Wing, may or may not. Hopefully it's not causing any drag at least, but the car was definitely faster, and the only real mod I made was the coilover change. The tires, I went from a Nitto NT01 that are probably a little heat cycled, but you know, they still felt really grippy for this light chassis, to a Federal 200 tread wear. So from a 100 to 200 tread wear, which is usually slower, maybe because they're new, fresh meat, it's hard to say. But the car did get a little bit faster, and that's one of my favorite things about working on these kind of cars and doing one mod at a time. I've seen a lot of people that throw all these mods at the car, then they go out and get some times and they're trying to add more, but there's nothing else really left to add to the car. So that's just something I like to do. You know, it takes a lot of time and effort to build cars and putting that work into doing these little mods, and it really is fun and gratifying when you get to see and drive it the way we do. Hood came out cool. You guys have to let me know what you think. This one fits so much better. So happy about that. Love the aero catch and being able to lock it now. Before I'd always have to take those little pins out and disconnect the battery. Now I can just click the little relay that I have in there, and that shorts it out. Really cool. I think this car could really benefit from a seat of some sort. Anything to help rolling back and forth. I noticed I was like pushing my knee into the door panel when coming around some corners. But other than that, man, you know, really, really fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the track footage. Sometimes it really isn't too exciting, but it's a lot more exciting when you're in the car driving it. And as for the old coilovers, you know, I get a lot of questions about the longevity, but honestly, this car only gets driven hard and for fun. Sometimes when I want to go cruise around with a buddy, or we take it to the track. That's it. I'm a daily driver. There's nowhere I'm taking it to the store. It's just not used for that purpose. So on the coilovers that I had on there was probably no more than 1,500 miles. Now what I'm going to do for longevity testing, maybe in a year, so I can kind of revisit these coilovers, I'm going to take these coilovers, probably going to throw it on with this set of wheels. And I've been daily driving this super ugly EK hatch. Now it's super straight in terms of body, but the paint's just faded. A lot of paint fade. It's the DAP color, dark amethyst pearl or purple. I can't remember what it is, but it's a DAP. Automatic, 182,000. AC works like a champ, especially in our. It's already been like 95 degrees here, and I haven't had no issues with it. So I'm gonna throw it on there. It feels like the tires are old. They're like 7-year-old tires, 2014 on them. And the shocks, they need to be replaced. Like when I hit bumps hard, it'll bounce a lot. So didn't want to do anything to it, but I figured it can only help it by adding the coilovers to it. So now I can get some actual longevity testing with those max speeder rods. See how they hold up, because I've daily driven this thing already for the last 2 months. And that's usually about 4 or 5 times a week, back and forth to work and whatnot. So we're gonna get that done. I'm gonna put that in the next video. We're gonna install it. Next video is gonna be a little different. Hopefully you guys like it. I know sometimes I'm just working on one specific thing, working on this car. But I'm gonna start doing little bits of kind of what I'm up to on a daily basis, because there's a lot that goes on, not necessarily goes on, but a lot that I'm working on where I don't record because maybe I'm doing something like installing coilovers on a car, swapping wheels out, getting some new tires mounted. We're gonna do that today also for the R. So I'm gonna throw that in the next video. We'll take a look at it then. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time. And I almost forgot, if you're interested in purchasing some of the coilover springs from Max Speeding Rods directly, my contact said to go ahead and reach out to them. Let them know I sent you. And it looks like a pair can be anywhere between $40 to $60 depending on the application. So it's not too expensive to have them, but then you have some other options on going with the heavier spring rate. They didn't say anything about buying a set brand new if you're buying brand new coilers and then swapping them there, but just contact them. They said that's the easiest way, and let them know I sent you, and then you can go from there and figure out what you want for your set of coilovers.
Oh, it's already slammed. It's a new tire.
I don't know if I can get this bitch out.
Here you go, let me get the other one and I'll get it on the side.
Okay.